Hey guys, welcome back. I'm just here to share with you guys about my Rubik's Cube journey. About how I went from this to something like this. I'm your host Thiru and this is Random Review Squad. So it has always been one of my big, bucket list items or whatever you call it, to actually solve a Rubik's Cube. I know it's kind of like a thing among people, like if you can solve a Rubik's Cube, you're incredibly smart, and it's always been a thing that has been bugging at me for quite a while. But I've never really gotten around to getting a Rubik's Cube and then, kind of playing with it and, trying to solve it. I have come across a few Rubik's Cubes in my life with other people, but never really attempted to solve it, and some of them were just kind of spinning it around like a fidget spinner. I didn't really learn. Well, that was the case until 1st of April, where one of my family members actually brought in a original Rubik's Cube, which is pretty expensive to be honest, but it's in a Rubik's Cube, it's there. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I make it a 30-day challenge of how I went from a complete novice, a complete noob in doing the Rubik's Cube to quite decent. I wouldn't say I'm a professional or anything, I'm quite decent. Like the world record for a Rubik's Cube solve is 3.47 seconds. That's like speed cubing and all that. But I'm not aiming for that. I'm just aiming for a solid time of a 3-minute solve. So I got the Rubik's Cube on the 1st of April. I sat down. Now I hadn't decided to actually do the video yet. So I just kind of started playing around with it and I was like, how do I solve it, right? And I was really curious, so like any other person with no time, I went online to find the solution, and it was an intricate number of steps. I was just like, why? How would people even solve it in the first time round? I know if you're able to solve it without even looking at the solution, you are so spatially aware and you're so aware of the algorithms without even looking at the solution, you are definitely on a different league. It is not easy. It is not easy to solve this Rubik's Cube, and it took me about a good 2 to 3 hours to actually solve it and to actually sit down and follow through with the hand movements the first time around. So I went through the entire process of looking at the solution for about a good 2 or 3 days. I just looked through the solution. I was like, you know what, why don't I start filming this? So I started filming it. I started to, just keep logs. So I have a whole Word document where I type in every day of what I did for the Rubik's Cube or what I, kind of learned while using the Rubik's Cube. The first solution, the first part of the solution is actually getting a white flower or white daisy. So you actually get the white middle sections around the yellow middle, and that is actually the first step. And then once you've got that, you actually just have to kind of move it around and get the colors aligned and then turn it down so that they align with the white, right? So that is the first step. I got that down pretty quickly within the first 2 or 3 days, and I was good to go in that sense. So I wanted to set a goal. So I searched up the world record and it was 3.47 seconds, which is, I know, is impossible to do in 30 days. That's a lot of work. So I just went on and, I kind of just set a goal for myself, 3 minutes. I would solve a cube within 3 minutes, because at that point in time, I was actually solving a cube in an hour, maybe 45 minutes, trying to figure it out, trying to, get off the solution and then get back on and try to, not grow a dependency to a solution. So on days 4, 5, 6, I was already getting the middle solving algorithm down. So basically how to put in the middle parts. I had gotten the parts where I have to solve the first 1 or 2 layers, right? So I was completely fine with solving the first layer by the 5th day, and by the 6th or 7th day, I was actually able to solve the first 2 layers. But I still had a lot of problem with the last 20-30%. In fact, the last 3 major steps of solving the cube, on how to solve the last layer, because that's where like most of the moves are. And at that point in time, I could not remember it, and I was kind of reluctant to kind of just memorize because I wanted to understand the algorithm. So I was just kind of looking at the solution, getting off of it, looking at it again, and after a point in time, I just kind of got and then like just solved it with the solution, put it down, carried on with my day. On day 10, I was pretty much fully able to do the final step, the last step of getting the single colors across and finishing the cube. It was just the middle two final steps that I still had to get down. At the point in time, it was just practice, practice, and practice all the way. I did time myself, and I hit about, let me see. I hit 3 minutes and 37 seconds with, of course, the help of the solution for the middle two parts. April 11th, big day for me. I actually solved the Rubik's Cube without the help of a solution, right? I just, practiced, and then I finally sat down. You know what, I'm gonna try it without the solution now and try to do it as fast as I can. I hit about 2 minutes and 49 seconds. 2 minutes and 49 seconds. So on day 11, I had already broken my so-called goal of 3 minutes. I could have just left it and I'm done with it, but there was still about 19 days, right? So I was like, you know what, I should try and master the cube better and kind of go faster and try my best to go faster. So on April 18th, I was already looking at the patterns well, and I was looking at the colors properly, trying to figure out which way I should go, which colors I should be looking at, which side the images should be on when I do the algorithms. So basically getting acclimatized to all the algorithms and understanding it fully. So April 19 was pretty interesting to me as well, because my colleague who was sitting beside me at the workplace, Gavin, shout out to you, he actually can solve speed cubes really well. He speed cubes. So he really knows the algorithms and really knows how to solve them really quickly. He was doing sub 1 minute or sub 30-second solves, and that was insane to me. People weren't as impressed as me, because most of them never solved the Rubik's Cube, but when I see him do it, it's insane. And he has his own special cube, which actually had magnets, and it's much more smoother than the original Rubik's Cube. This is the original Rubik's Cube, and it's very difficult to spin. That's some ASMR for you guys, but as you can hear, it's very rough and it's very squeaky, and it's not really a good experience. It's weird because this is the original Rubik's Cube, right? But no, actually, the Chinese make better cubes, something called speed cubes, and they actually have a much smoother movement and turning system, and they also have magnets in them. This one doesn't have magnets in them because I bought the wrong one, but it's only $5, right? So you're gonna hear this, and immediately you know that this is much smoother to turn, much more quicker. You can actually solve much more quickly on these smoother cubes, and the ones with the magnets actually help you lock in or return to the original position when you turn it, and that's why speed cubers use those cubes. Those may be a little bit more expensive, but I think you can find them cheap on Lazada and Shopee. So my colleague also introduced me to this method called F2L, right? When you first learn the algorithm, you'll be putting the first layer one by one, and then you will be doing the second layer. But F2L actually helps you put in 2 at one time. So you can actually solve 2 layers at once. And that really greatly reduces the time that requires for you to do whatever algorithm. And I started learning that. So for the next few days, I was already running out of time, right? I was down to 11 days, right? So I was like, you know what, maybe I'll focus a bit on the F2L and see whether I can increase or reduce my times. Yeah, April 23rd, I actually solved the cube in 1 minute and 35 seconds with the Chinese cube that my friend Gavin had brought to the office. And I went just zooming through the algorithms, and it was so smooth to do and so easy to use. And that was when I decided I should get the Chinese cube, right? Towards the end of the journey. I should have bought it earlier on, but you know what, things happen. So on the 29th of April, the last almost the last day I got this cube, the final one. I started practicing on this as much as I could. I did quite a few solves in it. I am probably about close to 40 solves, maybe less. I think close to 30-40 solves on it. Because like every time I go on the train, it's become a habit now. So I bring my cube everywhere with me. On the train, on the bus, automatically my hand just reaches for the Rubik's Cube. And it's kind of improved like my way of life, not just from this cube, but from the other cube as well. It's kind of improved my way of life in this sense. Like do not underestimate brain games. Like really do not underestimate them. They really perk you up for the day and they really get you ready, especially if you're a programmer, especially if you're doing computer science. You need your brain to think of the algorithms and different use cases and different scenarios as quickly as possible and like kind of code it out, right? And the Rubik's Cube mimics that pretty well. And every way you do it, even though the first two methods or the first two layers, when you solve them, the methods are almost the same. But like when you hit the third layer, that's when you start to hit different, outcomes and different ways to solve it. So it really got me going in my day. It really got me freshened up. Usually I would just be dead when I hit work. Just have to go and get a coffee or go and buy some food to eat to wake up and then come and sit down and do some coding. And at that point in time, my brain has to start up and like get used to the programming. But with this, no, I like throughout the month, I just felt more awake, more ready to like tackle the problems at work. And like this has kind of changed, affected my life quite a bit. I mean, now I'm like a geek who's just into Rubik's Cubes, right? I'm even planning to buy another Rubik's Cube. But like besides that point, like this has affected me in a positive manner. And I think it's interesting for those of you who are thinking of picking up the Rubik's Cube, do pick it up. Like it is really cool. So on 30th April, I tried doing the higher level OLL methods, like the four look last layer or something like that. I can't remember the name. Gavin told me about it, but like I just couldn't. It's like the last day, and so I just practiced the cube like a few times, put it down, and the next day was the test day. So May 1st, I sat down and I did some solves, and my best timing was. Okay, so today is 1st May, and I am going to be doing the Rubik's Cube, and I'm going to be timing myself. I'm going to try to get the best timing possible, and yeah, let's see if 30 days have kind of worked out, right? I mean, I've long broken my goal of 3 minutes, so I'll just try to push as much as I can in terms of the time. Yeah, let's go. So I have the cube ready here. Change the cube out. This is no longer here because I just recently got this, right? So this is gonna be the cube that I'm gonna be doing with. So it's the speed cube now, or the Chinese cube actually. It's not even the speed cube, right? So I'm just gonna mix it up really well. 1 minute and 21 seconds on this cube without the magnets. So I can only imagine what my timing would have been on a cube with magnets, because the issue with this cube is, like you see, it's sometimes when you overturn it still doesn't reset. So yeah, but then you would have to like hold it and kind of reset a bit and then continue your algorithm. That is really interesting, because like in between, while I was doing F2L, I was just able to switch back to the older method and quickly just solve that, right? It was eye-opening for me this entire 30 days about, you know, just learning something new and, you know, taking something off the bucket list and like, you know, just proving to myself that I can actually use my pockets of time more efficiently and actually like learn new things, new skills that actually change the way you think and change the way you live. I'm still gonna keep going. I'm gonna learn all the higher algorithms, maybe try to go sub 1 minute. I think that will be my next goal to hit, and if I do, I'll probably post an update somewhere, either on Insta or on YouTube. So hope you guys like this video. If you guys like to see more content like this, please do leave your comments down in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit the like button and smash that subscribe button to show me your support. I'll be doing more videos like this, not just Rubiks. I'm learning more skills, like I've got touch typing coming up, I've got other things in the works, so of course the reviews are going to be there as well still. So just stay tuned, and it'd be great if you give me a sub. Until next time, I'm your host Thiru, and this is Random Review Squad.